Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the best solo queue operators there are in Rainbow Six Siege. Don't mind how I'm Copper 5. I only played one match this season on my main account. I just got level 391 actually. That's besides the point. This weekend I'm going to be grinding a lot on my solo queue account, so you guys can expect some new content then. I just needed like a little week break off to start the season. Kind of what I did last season too, but I'm going to be grinding like crazy this season. I mentioned it in one of my last videos. My goal is to play about 200 matches at least on the solo queue account this season. Last season I only played 70 or something around there. So I would like to at least triple that this season. So that would be easily champion. And I'm going to try to go past champion too. I'm going to try to go for 5,000 MMR, but we'll see if we can get there. Or RP, I should say. The whole matchmaking hidden thing is... it's something. I don't know what rank 2.0 is, but guess Ubisoft likes it. But anyways, also besides the point. So today I'm going to be showing you my 5 favorite attackers and defenders to play in solo queue. You'll probably see me playing these all the time, or you will this season at least. Because there is a couple that I need to start taking a little bit more advantage of that I don't really play. And I will be showing you today. And I'm also going to give you one underrated operator on each side. So one attacker that's very underrated and then one defender as well. So you'll want to stick around for that. This will help you guys a lot in your games, I'm sure. I'm going to be explaining why these operators are so good in solo queue and why you should be playing them more. If you take these every round, you will be so much better off than whatever you're taking, I'm sure. At least in my experience, these guys are the right ones to play. And I'll tell you what situations you should be taking them for as well, because there are different uses. And obviously you can play more in these 5 and you'll be fine, but I think these are the 5 you should gravitate towards, at least in my opinion. Like I said, everybody has their own. So just tell me in the comments what you agree and disagree with, but let's go ahead and get into it. So starting with number 5 on attackers, it's going to be Nokk. I think she's the 5th best. And I'm going to tell you why. She has grenades. That's an automatic top 5 right there. If they have grenades, they're going to be very, very good. I do have 2 grenade operators in the top 5, I believe. I guess we'll see, though. It's either 2 or 3. You'll just have to find out. But again, Nokk has grenades. I do like her gun a lot. Some people say it's a little jumpy and weird, but I even use the suppressor on it, and I like it a lot. It's really good for lurking and hitting the back. You get a lot of shots in, and they don't even know where you're shooting from. And if you really do need EMPs, I would never take EMPs. If you ever need hard breach, though, you can have it, I guess. If you're hitting like the back of Oregon on tower side for upstairs, I guess. Something like that. Or even like the bank hatches. You do have that choice, but I'd recommend taking grenades, take the deagle, take the FMG9 with the suppressor, or the flash hider if it's too much recoil for you. And you will be golden. I will be telling you guys my loadouts for all these operators too, by the way. Like I just did for Nokk. But for Nokk, I would take her if you're trying to kind of just play like a rat, you know? She's really good for avoiding cameras. You can just flank around the backside while your team's pushing the front. You can get right past like 2 default cameras, a bulletproof camera. As long as there's not a Lesion mine or Ela mine or something, you should be fine to just kind of hit the back. And if you do take the suppressor, you can actually shoot the traps that you can see, like Capcan traps or Lesion goos, like I just mentioned. And you can get the flank off. I've done that so many times throughout my videos. You guys have seen it over and over and over again. So I do recommend playing a lot of Nokk. Nokk is very good in this meta. Just kind of the run around meta. Avoiding cameras is so big, and she's very quiet, and a lot of players just use sound. They don't really use anything else other than sound, pretty much. They just kind of walk around too. So she's going to be very good for that. She's kind of like the Caveira Vigil on attack. And I do love playing her a lot. Alright, moving on to number 4. This is going to be Dokkaebi. I do love playing her a lot too. She kind of fits in the same mold as the Nokk. The only advantage you're going to have with Dokkaebi is making the calls, obviously. I think her gadget is better for like just every round in general. So unless they have a mute jammer right on top of them, you're going to hear where anybody's at. And on the roam, there's probably not going to be a mute jammer, so you should be fine. 99% of the time, you'll be fine to hear anyone. And that's very good in solo queue, because You can't spend too much time on your drones or your whole team's kind of going to die around you. Like, how many times does that happen, right? In my videos alone, it's like a 2v5 within a minute every single time. So you want to get in really fast. You can break roof hatches with her gun too. It's another big bonus of her. You have EMPs, so you can just throw in at the doorway and then walk through it. Because you know the traps are going to be EMP'd at least for the time being. Or stun grenades if you prefer those. Or smokes. She has really good secondary options. Again, I do really like her gun, and she's a 3-speed. A lot of people don't know Dokkaebi's a 3-speed, but she is. She would be better off even if she had frag grenades. She'd be like top 1 or 2, no doubt. But she's definitely top 5 for me. I love playing some Dokkaebi. She's very nice, so I don't get just hit on in a random corner by some rats. I love hitting the calls and then just going in. You can play a lot more aggressive with her. Again, she kind of fits right into the Nokk thing. So those two are kind of similar. So it's whatever you're feeling. If you're feeling the grenades and an automatic gun and just trying to sneak around, be quiet, take the Nokk. If you just want to know where they are, then take the Dokkaebi, you know? And you got to be able to use the DMR too, of course. I do like the SMG-12 as well. I'll show you the loadout, of course. So I use stuns right now, but I'm going to switch to EMPs. I think EMPs are better most of the time. And then either use the Gon 6. That's another bonus about Dokk. She doesn't have grenades, but you can still clear a shield with the Gon 6. So you're going to want to take that most of the time. So at least then you can clear one thing. It's always nice to clear one piece of utility. And you can use the EMP or the stuns or smokes to burn ADSs. Or just EMP them. Or Wamai magnets. And then you can use the Gon 6, clear the shield, clear the Azami barrier. You know it happens all the time. And you're good. And if you don't need the Gon 6, you have the SMG-12, and I love that gun. If you can control it, it's one of the best. And then, yeah, don't use the Boss G. I would not recommend, but if you're crazy, sure. And the number 3 spot is going to be Ace. Look how cool he is, pulling out his phone and everything. He knows he's top 3. For Ace, though, he's going to be your best hard breaching option if you do want to take hard breach, because he's so mobile with his gadget. You can just throw it from far away. The mobility is very good. You have the AK-12, one of the best guns in the game. Probably like top 2 in my opinion. You have vertical grip, flash hider, 1.5. That's my loaded on that. And on the DMR, by the way, for Dokk, I was using muzzle and flash hider. And for the DMR and Dokkaebi, by the way, I was using muzzle brake, vertical grip, and 1.5 too. Just in case you were wondering, I forgot to go over that part. But there's the loadout for Ace 2. And just the pistols and other options. I would not recommend ever taking the shotgun. He does have breaches, but I always take Claymore for SoloQ. Usually if they have a Claymore as a possibility over breach charge, I'll take it. I don't think breach charges are very good in most situations, especially in the meta right now. So take the Claymores for your flanks. You never know if it can get a kill to win a round or something. But yeah, Ace is going to be best when you're trying to go for a wall, but you also just want to frag out, you know? You don't want to take Thermite and SoloQ. You don't want to take Cabana most of the time unless you're doing some long angle like the bottom garage one that I always do. So you can see the rafters. But I'd always just take Ace if I'm taking hard breach. He's really good for this meta. Just running gun hard breach. You can just throw them on the fly and go in. Play very aggressive off them. And you can throw one at each side of the wall and they cannot be bandit tricked as long as you throw an EMP first. Easy wall opening every single time if you do it right. So that's why Ace is really good. And you can pick if you can make them line of sight. You can just shoot the second one below that's blowing up. So you can just make one line of sight and the defenders can't even vault through it. And then you can make your big hole with the other two. And you can even go below, like Ace charge from below and get bandits off that way. So he's just all around very versatile. Best hard breacher for SoloQ. Best hard breacher in this meta right now in general. No doubt about it. Oh, one last thing with Ace 2 before we move on. He can also clear shields, which is another thing I'm going to be preaching in this video for attackers. Just the ability to clear a shield out. He can do that as well. So far, all 3 operators have been able to do that. He's the weakest at it for sure, but he still can in a pinch if you do have an Ace charge left. And if you're the secondary hard breacher, you can just throw those around shields, I guess. And make lines of sight. You don't need the main breach with Ace a lot of the time. Your teammates will still play Thermite for whatever reason. Go for main breach first, though. That's your priority if it's free. But if there's bandits or something, just frag out. Get whatever you need. Don't worry about it too much, trust me. Moving on to number 2, it's going to be Zero. Zero is one of my favorite attackers in the game. Favorite operators in the whole game, honestly. I love this gun a lot. He's going to be like the Swiss Army knife of attack. He can do pretty much everything you need. I use the 2X on his gun, extend the barrel, 50 damage, and the angle grip because he has like no recoil on this gun. But if you can't handle it, just put a vert grip on there and you will be good. I would definitely run the extended though. And you can either pick the 1.5 or 2X. I just go back and forth. Also, this SSG skin with my attachment one and that charm. It's all so good together. Always run the Gon 6 on Zero. Never take the pistol. Don't run the MP7 either. I see some people doing it. It has the 1.5, I guess, but still. I think this gun's just too good not to run. And then I would take Claymore if you're going to be on a window repel early in the round or something, you know, just to be safe in solo queue. Because your teammates probably aren't going to watch the runouts. But if you want any ability to get a wall, you can also take the hard breach. That's why he's so good. Those operators that have a really good gun, Gon 6 and hard breach, are so nice to have. You can do anything you want in solo queue. And that's not even mentioning his cameras that you can shoot. So his cameras work as info gathering, obviously, the main use. And you have 4 of them, so you can help get the wall if you need. A lot of the time, I will go under on Oregon Tower in the back. You can shoot a zero cam on the floor, make it go through, and then you can shoot any bandits or the Cade off the wall like that. And if there's a mute jammer, to shoot at the very top of the wall, angle it down, shoot that, and you're good to go. He literally can do anything. And his zero cams can actually clear ADSs too. So just shoot one through a area where there's a shield, and then you're good to go for the Gon 6. He can do literally anything you want. And he's a 3-speed on top of all this. Again, gun really good for the meta. Zero is very underrated too. That's why he's number 2 on this list. I was very tempted to put him number 1, but I just quite couldn't. You probably know who's going to be number 1. At the number 1 spot for attackers is going to be Iana. She's just too good. You cannot go wrong with Iana. You have so much droning with those clones. You still have your 2 actual drones on top of that. You have a really good gun. I use angle grip and suppressor on this. I'll show you the loadout now. Just like that. Actually, I use a flash hider right now with angle grip, but suppressor's good too. Vert grip's good. Anything really on this gun's good. Just use the 1.5 and go to work. And she has grenades. That's the other big thing. So, really good gun. 2 armor, 2 speed. She has infinite clones, pretty much. She has white hair, so that's a bonus. No, but being serious, her white hair is very hard to see on some backgrounds in the game. A lot of the white walls and stuff, especially on coastline, very hard to see, so that's going to be a big bonus too. But mainly all the cloning and the 2 grenades and the good gun. She's just too good for solo queue. I need to use her more next season. I started taking advantage of her a little bit more near the end. You've seen her the last few games. You've been watching my videos. Iana is very good as long as you're not grenading yourself. Moving on to the most underrated solo queue operator, it's going to be Gridlock. I know this probably comes as a surprise to some, but if you guys play Gridlock and you actually know how to use her right, then you know she's actually very underrated. So her big weakness is going to be the 3 armor 1 speed. She's very slow, but we can get around that. At least when you're ADS, she's the same speed as everybody else in the game now. It's not like it used to be. Her gun, very good start here. I use 1.5 extended angle grip, still has like no recoil. Very high damage now. No recoil, like I said. Very good fire rate too, solid there. It's kind of like a mini F2. It's not quite as good, but it's approaching it. And even the LMG is pretty good still. I don't think the recoil is that bad on that one. I'm not sure. I haven't used it in a bit, but you can try it out if you want. 48 damage is crazy. You also have the options between the Super Shorty and the Gon 6. I take the Gon 6 again because of shield clear. Everybody I've mentioned so far in attack, all 6 of these operators have had the ability to clear shields. and Azami barriers. And that's one of the most important things there's going to be. Or even just barbed wire. You're usually going to go up against like a brick wall, so you have to be able to clear that efficiently. And all these guys can do that. But if you don't need the Gon 6, you have the Shotgun 2, so another very good option. I personally take smokes, but EMPs are also going to be a nice choice to get the wall. She's a very good flex operator for that, just like Dokkaebi. So yeah, I think Gridlock's very underrated. Also, 4 track stingers is insane. Just start throwing those suckers around the site when you're going for a plant, and they're never going to hear it going down. If you see your thermite about to just run in and start planting, just start chucking them everywhere. That's all you got to do. Throw your smokes, throw your track stingers everywhere. Easy plant. Even if you only have 2 left for covering the flank with the other 2, it's still plenty of stuff to stop the defenders pushing up. They will not know what's going on. They will not know there's a plant going down, trust me. But let's move on to the defenders. And number 5 is going to be Lesion. I do love playing Lesion. He's got in every single site in the game. I mean, all these operators are going to be, but Legion's always just so good. Always a good choice. This is my loadout for him. I have the Hollow A, Extended Barrel Vert Grip. I don't think you really need the angle grips as much when you're on defense compared to attack. That's just my opinion, though. And Extended for the slight damage buff. He still has, like, no recoil, trust me. Always take impacts, too. Your solo queue, there's no need to take the bulletproof cam. It's going to be useless a lot of the time. Your team's never going to go on that thing. So unless you have a specific strat you're going to be watching it for and swinging, just take the impacts. You can help set up sight. You can impact trick with them. You can break OSA shields with them. Impacts are always very nice to have. They're very underrated. Sometimes I even like having them over a C4. Just for the versatility of it. But yeah, Legion's a 2-speed, 2 armor, good gun. Again, you can do so many things with Lesion. You have 8 goo mines. It's actually insane. If you stay alive and use all 8 during the round, you can cut off so many different entry points for the attack. At number 4 is going to be Frost. I do love playing me some Frost. She could be slightly better. The Frost mats aren't always going to be useful. If you watched my Defender tier list, I only actually had her in the A tier, I believe, and not S tier. And that was for that reason. That was a unbiased tier list, but I do love playing Frost, so she's top 5 for me. I do love her gun a lot. The fire rate is a little slow. That's the only complaint I have about it. But besides that, no recoil, 1.5. 36 damage. If you use this extended barrel, even higher, but I just don't like how it sticks out so much and you can't really chill in corners. They'll always know you're there. I don't think the damage makes that much of a difference with hers. At least with my math, I did. But you also have the deployable shield. Always nice to have that for yourself. You can play behind that wherever you want. You have the shotgun to set up sight, make holes wherever you need. You can pretty much do anything you want with Frost. And then your 3 mats too. So some sites she's going to be S tier all day. Some sites, Frost mats aren't going to be the best, but you can still play her if you want. You can make her work on every site for sure, no doubt. Especially now that Alibi and Smoke lost their shields, so she's one of the best with a shield. I'd say if you want a shield, play Frost. At the number 3 spot, I use Wamai all the time in my solo queue games. You see him all the time from me. He has a really good gun with a 1.5 again. He got it last season finally. Got it back. These are my attachments for him, if you're wondering. There's not much to it really. Flashlight or extended barrel, your choices. You don't have a grip on this gun, unfortunately. So a little bit more jumpier than the other MP5s. That's okay. I use the Keratos, and you're going to want to do that instead of this gun. It's a pistol, so you're not really needing the extra ammo anyway. Use this, though, so you can make lines of sight. You can make footholes on the walls that you need. You can make head holes where you need them. You can just make some more angles. You can open up whatever you want with this. Very nice sidearm to have for the prep phase. I use proxies a lot of the time, honestly, over the impacts. Just because they can watch my back very well, kind of like barbed wire could. But maybe even better in some situations. It's just up to the site, though, wherever we go. Sometimes I'll take impacts, sometimes I'll take proximity alarms. It just depends, really. So just always be aware of what site you're playing and switch to what you need. They're both very good options to have. The Wamai Magnet's obviously the main part of him. He's a 2-speed, 2 armor. But the Wamai discs are going to be very good. If you can stay alive and get a lot of those things down your sight, they're going to have a really hard time making any progress unless they just beam you with their guns. That's the only thing they can really do at that point. Or just dump like 6 stuns in at the same time before you can get them set up right. Which does happen at SoloQ, so. But I think Wamai right now is better than Jaeger, especially when you're solo queuing. You're always going to want to take Wamai first. Only take Jaeger really if he was taken by another teammate, or if you just don't have Wamai at all. Alright, second best operator on defense, it's going to be Azami. I really never take Azami. I probably haven't all of last season in any of my videos, which is just a shock. I don't even have her on that account that I was using. But I still made it to Diamond just fine, so I mean, hey. Guess I don't need her. But no, this season I am going to try to get her eventually. I don't have her yet on the account for this season, but I will try to get her, and I will try to play her this season. I was always avoiding it because I use RB to crouch on my controller, so that means I use B to throw my gadget, and it's very tough to throw those accurately during the round with the B button. Because I can't aim my right stick. I have to use my left thumb for that, which is tough. But I am going to try to play her more, for sure. She is just way too good. I need to start learning some really good Azami setups. That'll help me cover a lot of my angles that I can't usually cover with anybody else. She is a very one-of-a-kind operator, so I need to start taking advantage of her more. And I will try to do that this season. I'm saying it now. It's going to happen. You have 2 really good choices for the gadget. You can have Barbed Wire to cover your back. Another thing that's very helpful. And if your team doesn't really set up the sight, you can take impacts for that. Again, impacts are good for OSA shields, stuff like that. And the Deagle can actually make good head holes or foot holes for you. So, and I do recommend taking this gun over this. Obviously, this can make holes too, but I just take this gun. It's really good. I use Hollow A, Flash, and Vert Grip. Actually, I use Extended Barrel on this, on my cap can. That just shows you how long it's been since I've really played Azami much. I'll try to play on my main account too for when I do solo games on here for you guys. That brings us to number 1 on the list. It's actually going to be this guy right here, Fenrir. This is going to be a shock to some people because he's the newest operator in the game. I've barely even played this operator. I played him like 3 times, I think, in quick matches. And that is it. Just on the console playlist alone. And he was just so good. He has everything you need in a solo queue operator. So I've already made my decision. And don't worry, I have purchased him on my other account. I got the battle pass on there just so I can play the new operator. So I will be playing him in the first match of the season on that account probably. As long as nobody else takes him right away. So you're going to want to stay around for that. Lots of new content on the new operator for me this season. I'm very excited to play him a lot. I do like the MP7 quite a bit. Very good gun, very high fire rate. Just what I like. You have the Bailiff for setting up the sight, making holes wherever you want. Very good secondary option for him. And you have Barbed Wire on top of it. And that's not even mentioning his FNAT Dread Mines. Those things are insane. I've seen some clips of those being used. It is so hard to see through them. And you can activate 3 at once. You can quickly switch between which ones are active. It's going to be so nice to watch your back like that in solo queue. I cannot wait to start playing him more and learn him. I'm going to try to become a really good Fenrir player this season. And it's going to make life so much easier for me whenever I can choose him. So, again, definitely stick around for those videos if you want some really good Fenrir gameplay this season. Number 1 best solo queue operator in my opinion. Even attackers involved in everything. He is the best. Alright, quickly before we end the video, this is going to be the most underrated defender in the game. I do love playing Echo. You know, every time I play Bank, if you watch my videos, I play Echo on that. Especially in the vault, he's so good. If you use the drones properly and don't just like sit them in a corner randomly and just stand there AFK in a corner on site with Echo and don't do anything. If you actually play him the right way, get on the drones, drive him around for your roamers, zap the other team with them, Just yellow ping with them so they don't get shot. Just make it really hard for the attackers to entry anywhere. They're going to be so underrated. A lot of people just do not play Echo the right way at all. And it just makes me cringe. And on top of that, everybody knows he can deny the plant at the end of the round. That's going to be huge in solo queue. Say you get a nice little double kill in a 1v3. The last dude's planting. Just switch on your drone, drive it forward a little bit, stun them off the plant, and you win the round just like that. I know it never works out that way, but in theory, he can stop the plant as well. That's just another bonus. But you should not just be using the drones for that. You should not just set them up in sight and AFK the entire round and don't even do anything else. Just drive them around, help your team, and you'll be good. There are some times you should just have one in sight like that. Like on the basement, I always set one up so they can't really see it from the server room, looking into CC. But most instances, you're going to want to drive those around and help your team. One of my most recent videos, I was doing that very well on border, actually. So go check that one out if you want. But that's going to do it for my best solo queue operators in Rainbow Six Siege. If you did enjoy this one and find it helpful at all, leave a like down below, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.